Have you ever wondered how a simple idea can actually become a real, profitable software business? Well, stick around because today, we're not just talking theory. We are handing you the literal blueprint for building a hyper-focused software company right from scratch. This is business idea number 1, the niche project management tool.
So, what's the core problem we're actually solving here? Well, you know those big, generic project management tools like Asana or Trello? They're great, but they try to be everything for everyone. And because of that, they create this massive opportunity in specialized industries that they just don't serve well. Think about it. A construction subcontractor isn't just managing a simple to-do list. No way. They're handling daily site reports, complicated change orders, tracking materials. Generic tools are just clunky for that, but a niche tool, it can do it perfectly.
And the business model for this is what we call SaaS, or software as a service. You know, basically, instead of selling a piece of software one time, you're offering a subscription to a tool that solves an ongoing problem for your customers. And for this whole explainer, we're going to stick with that example, a simple focus tool for construction subcontractors. To get there, we're not just going to talk about the idea. We are going to walk through a structured 4-phase blueprint. This is the exact roadmap, taking you from just an idea in your head to a real, functioning business. All right, let's dive into phase 1, the validation phase. And listen, here is the secret, the one thing most people get completely wrong. You will not write a single line of code. You won't spend any serious money until this phase is done. This is all about research, nothing else. In the process itself, it's actually incredibly simple. It just breaks down into 3 easy steps. First, you interview your potential customers. Second, you build a simple picture of the solution. We call that a prototype. And third, you validate whether they would actually pay for it. That's it. So, your first real task is to go out and talk to 20 professionals in whatever niche you choose. 20 subcontractors. Your only goal in these chats is to listen and find their single biggest workflow pain point. Remember, you are not selling anything at this stage. You are a researcher on a mission. And through these interviews, you might find out that their biggest headache is something super specific, like the absolute chaos of tracking daily site reports on paper or in a huge mess of text messages. Or maybe it's the nightmare of getting a change order approved. This right here is the gold you're looking for. Okay, once you found that pain point, you open up a free tool, something like Figma or even Canva, and you create a simple, clickable picture of what a solution might look like. Then you go back to those people, you show them this mock-up, and you ask the single most important question in this entire process. If this existed, would you pay $50 a month for it? Now here's the crazy part. You don't need all 20 people to say yes. You just need 5. If you can get 5 people to give you a firm, oh yeah, I would absolutely pay for that, you have a validated business idea. That is your green light to move forward. Once you have that green light, it is time to lay the groundwork. Let's move on to phase 2, the foundation phase. Now look, this is the simple, kind of boring, but absolutely essential part. It's not the exciting stuff, but getting it done now will save you from massive headaches down the road. There are really just 3 core tasks here. First, legally form your company. An LLC is usually a simple way to go. Second, get a separate business bank account to keep all your finances clean from day one. And third, write a simple 1-page business plan. And that 1-page plan? It's not a novel. It's just a way to force yourself to answer the really important questions. Like, what's your pricing model going to be? Are you going to charge per user every month? Or maybe a flat fee per project? Answering this now brings so much clarity to the whole business. And that brings us to phase 3, the building phase. Now, and only now, do you actually start creating the product. But the key here is to build with extreme focus, creating what we call a minimum viable product, or an MVP. So what's an MVP? Well, it's exactly what it says, the minimum viable product. Think of it as the smallest, simplest version of your tool that is just good enough to solve that core problem you found back in phase 1. The goal is not perfection, not even close. The goal is to get a working solution into the hands of your first users as fast as possible. And this is where that focus really pays off. Based on our research, your MVP only needs 3 features: the ability to create user accounts, the ability to create a project, and that one core function for managing daily reports and change orders. That's it. Nothing else. You have to resist the temptation to add more features. Now, how do you actually build it? Well, you've got 2 main paths. You could learn a powerful no-code tool like Bubble, which lets you build software visually without writing code, or you could hire a professional freelance developer to build just those 3 specific features. Honestly, both are perfectly good options. So while your MVP is being built, you need to do one super important marketing task at the same time. Put up a simple one-page website that just describes the problem you solve and add a single obvious button. Join the waitlist. This builds excitement and gives you a ready-made list of people to call on launch day. Okay, let's move on to the final step, phase 4, the launch and grow phase. Now that you have a product, it's time to get it into the hands of users and start building a real business. But here is the most important and maybe the most counterintuitive rule of this phase. You are not launching to the world. You are not buying a Super Bowl ad. A big, broad launch for a niche product is a recipe for disaster. Your launch is what's known as a beta launch. And as you can see here, your audience isn't this massive bar of everyone else. Nope. It is this tiny, specific group right here. The people on your waitlist and the original 20 professionals you interviewed. These people are your most important users. They'll give you honest feedback, help you find bugs, and they will literally shape the future of your product. After you've polished the product with their feedback, then you start to market. And you go directly where your customers already are. You're not going on broad platforms like TikTok or Instagram. You're going into subcontractor associations and on LinkedIn, where you can target people with the exact job title HVAC subcontractor. It's like fishing with a spear instead of a giant net. It's surgical, it's efficient, and it is incredibly effective. So let's recap. You now have the complete SaaS blueprint. This isn't some vague idea. It's a simple, actionable framework for building a real, focused business that people actually want and need. It all comes down to these 4 phases. First, you validate the idea by talking to real customers. Second, you set up your legal and financial foundation. Third, you build the smallest possible version of your product. And fourth, you launch to a small targeted group and then you grow from there. This methodical approach really takes all the guesswork out of starting a business and puts the focus right where it should be, on solving a real-world problem. So now I'm turning it over to you. What business idea do you want to see me break down next? Drop it in the comments below. I would love to see what you come up with.